What's your
Okay.
first? What's your first
Okay.
objection? What's your first objection? Go for it.
Okay. The first objection is to believe in one God because this is the core belief of a religion, and your salvation is depend on believing on one true God. If you believe in the one true God, then your belief is true. Because if you worship false God, the punishment of that is very severe in the New Testament. God is said in Exodus chapter 20. It says to Moses, God says to Moses, tell to the children of Israel that I am a jealous God. Do not worship anything which is in the earth, which is on the earth, which is beneath the earth, which is in the heaven. Do not worship them. Do not make idol or uh, picture to him. And then he said in Deuteronomy chapter 13, if anyone who perceive you to worship other god than the God of Israel, so they should be put to death by stoning. So this is
Can
the
we
punishment of
can we stay in Exodus
this.
20 for a
This is
second?
let
Which
me let
can you stay in Exodus 20 for a second? Which verses were you reading again? Exodus 20 what?
Ex- Exodus chapter 20.
Which verses?
Start from verse first.
So you quoted God was a jealous God. Which verse is that in Exodus 20?
This is verse number uh, 3 and 4. It says, let me read it. It says, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images, or any likenesses of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the father upon the children unto the third and fourth generation.
Okay, good. I just want to know which verses.
Okay.
So, how
Okay.
does this in your objection to Jesus, how is this an objection? Christians believe this. Christians
Okay.
affirm this.
Okay. My objection is this, that Jesus was living on the earth. He has a physical body. Okay. So Jesus do not come up on this verse because he was a human being walking on the earth, and it is strictly prohibited that do not worship anything which is on the earth, which is beneath the earth. It means nobody can see God. It's only believe that God is all knowing, all powerful, and all knowledgeable. Jesus do not come on these description of God. Jesus was ignorant, Jesus was weak, and Jesus was a human being. That's why Jesus cannot be God.
Now,
Okay.
if you notice in verse 5, it says, I think, were you reading from the King James? Just to make sure, were you reading from the King James?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm reading from the same one you're reading from. It says, "Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them." What is the word "serve" there in the Hebrew? Do you know?
I don't know what's the word.
Okay.
So you mean they translated it wrong?
Well, what the word is in Hebrew?
How does it matter? So you mean this is
Well,
not a clear verse? They did not translate it right?
in the New Testament, Jesus is the one whom Christians serve. This is what we see that
G,
Jesus. this is what we see in the New Testament, that people were servants of Jesus Christ. So are you going to say
Yeah,
everybody who was following Christ and serving Christ, were they all committing idolatry?
yeah. Serving is a God, not is a prophet, because the New Testament is portrayed Jesus is the prophet. Okay, and as well as in the Quran. Quran it says, "Ma al Masih ibn Maryam illa Rasul." The New Testament is also portrayed Jesus as a prophet, and he
Okay.
is a God.
Okay.
Okay,
So let's
so
start off on a spot here. So your objection is Exodus chapter 20, just to be very clear where we're looking at here, Exodus chapter 20, and
and as well
particularly
as as well as in Deuteronomy chapter 13, because the punishment of
I know this, but
worshipping other God.
let's keep it one at a time. Okay. So your main objection is right
Okay,
here. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make for any unto thee any graven image, any likeness of anything on that's on heaven, that above, that's on the earth beneath, that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow thyself to them, nor serve them. For I am the Lord your God, I am jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. So when it says bow thyself down to them in verse 5, what do you think that means?
bow down. It means that you are weak and you are dependent on something, someone else. On depending, because when you go to put your head on the earth and bow down, it indicates your weaknesses. And Jesus was weak. He prayed to God. If you remember in the Garden of Gethsemane, he bowed down to God. Okay,
Right. I
so bowing
understand.
down to God, this is worship. This is a
I
part of
so there
worship.
you go. That's the word I want to see. Worship. Okay, so worship, right? Do you know if there's any places in the New Testament where people bowed down to Jesus and he told them to stop, for that was blasphemy? Do you know of any places that Jesus did that? Are you still with me? Shahid, are you still there? I want to assume that you're still there, but just have communication and you're not Googling something. Oh, looks like we lost him. All right, hopefully he'll come back. So while we're waiting, just so you guys know, this is his objection. So far in this text, you're not to serve them or bow down, worship, right? That's the key here. Worship, right? So I want to see if he knows from the New Testament if this is consistent with how he had people whom did these very things to him. All right, you're back. You there?
Yeah, with the internet issues here. Sorry for that.
That's all right. That's all right. So my question to you, did you hear my question by chance or no?
No, no, I didn't hear. Can you repeat
Okay.
it again?
Yeah. So when you were talking a minute ago and you brought up Exodus 20, and I asked you specifically about verse 5 about the word bow down, you said it was worship, correct?
Yeah.
Now my question to you is in the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, any of these places, there are numerous places where people actually bow down, and it actually says in the Greek that they worship Jesus. Is there any place where Jesus rebuked them, told them not to do that? You're blaspheming. Is there any places you can think of?
No, this is the problem. This is we call the Sijda Tazimiya. This is a bowing down is a reverence, and you is a Sijda respect. Bowing down is a respect. This is not worship. Worshipping, bowing down to God and praising Him. This is worship. because English is a very loose language. When you call worship is they worship in the Bible. They worship human being. They because David was also worshipped, but not as a god. He was a king, and by respect, people bow down to him.
Right. There's different words that can be used for homage or obeisance or worship. But in the New Testament, the Greek word is proskuno, and there are different places where it says that people were worshiping Jesus. So I'm going to ask you the question again. Is there any place in those examples where people were doing that very thing to Jesus where Jesus stopped them?
No, in those times, but as a Muslim in Islamic perspective, in the previous ummah, the previous prophets, it was allowed to bow down to prophets. But in our Sharia, it is not allowed to bow down to anyone. In the previous ummah Sharia, they bow down to the people because of respect. It's not about worshipping someone like a god.
So if somebody called out to Jesus and in response was calling Jesus his Lord and his God, and Jesus didn't rebuke him, how would you respond to that?
So you are referring to Thomas that he tell him that you are my God and my Lord.
That is correct. So
Okay,
if
so
Thomas said to Jesus, "My Lord and my God," why
mm,
didn't Jesus rebuke him?
because it can be interpreted as because he did not means to be that you are my God, but it is uh, uh, a rhetoric, not rhetorical, but it's a joy. He said, felt when he see him that he was alive, and he feel joy, and that he said to my. It doesn't mean that he's Jesus said to Jesus that he's my God. Everyone, when somebody sees something strange and they are just happily, it's just, my God and my Lord. It doesn't mean that he tell him that you are my God. If it's the case, and Matthew chapter
So
16, Matthew
so
chapter 16.
just just stop, 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 stop. Don't go anywhere else. Don't go anywhere else. We're doing it once part at a time. It says in John 20:28, Thomas answered and said to him, he's
Yeah,
speaking to Jesus. He said to
yeah.
him, "My Lord and my God." In the Greek, it's literally the God of me and the Lord of me.
So,
He said
so
to Jesus. He's
he
speaking
said.
to Jesus.
Yes, he's speaking to Jesus, but he did not referring to Jesus that you are my God and my Lord. But he's my God and my Lord. It's simple words in English. It's always used uh, when somebody surprise something, somebody shows something strange. Automatically they said, "My God and my Lord." This is what it means. Okay,
You,
but
you
clear.
you think Thomas when he sees Jesus now resurrected, mind you, that he actually sees Jesus resurrected from the dead. That was the very thing he wanted to see. All of a sudden now he says, "Oh my God, oh my Lord." Do you think that's what he said?
Yes, if he said that he is God, then he said that he must say that you are my God. But he didn't say this. This proclamation of joy. He feel joy, and suddenly he said, "My God and my Lord." It doesn't mean that he tell Jesus that you are my God and my Lord.
So
Let
think
me let
about what
me
you just said.
let
So
me
just think about what
let
you
me.
just said for a second. No, we're not going anywhere else. We're staying right here. So think about what you just said. A Jewish guy, Thomas, he says out loud, "Oh my God, oh my Lord." That's what you're saying, right?
But we do not want to
Is
add some. We do
are
not want to
just to
add
be clear,
anything into the
is
verse.
that what you're saying? Yes or no?
Yes, this is my. That's
Okay,
what I.
okay.
This is my
So
meaning.
here's
Okay.
the reason why I'm saying that's wrong. Because that would be taking God in the wrong way. That would be considered blasphemy for a Jewish person to use that in that way. And secondly, notice it says, as Thomas said to him, meaning Jesus, that's who he's talking to. Jesus then responds to him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are they who have not seen me and have believed," talking about his resurrection from the dead. So not only is Thomas talking to Jesus, and he says to Jesus, "My Lord and my God," But not only that, Jesus actually affirms what he said. And he says, you believe because you've seen, more blessed are those who haven't seen. That affirms what Thomas said.
So there is no problem in the verse when you have seen, but if he seen, and later on people will come and they will believe when they become to know that he was not crucified. Okay, the people will believe it. It doesn't mean if he see him, he believe he check his hand, nothing was wrong with his hand, and he was feel joy, and he suddenly said, "My God and my Lord," because he's thinking it God. If it is the case that he is calling God, it was the best opportunity for him. In Matthew chapter 16 verse 13, when Jesus asked Peter, "What the people are saying about me? Who am I?" This was the best moments to. If he is God, that then the disciple will tell him, "Yes, you are God." He
Okay.
asked him,
Is it, is
what
that,
let me
I just want
let
to
me
ask,
complete.
is that Matthew 16 you're talking about? Matthew 16?
Yes, Matthew 16. In Matthew
Okay.
16,
Keep going.
he asked Peter, "What are the people saying about me? Who am I?" And he says, "Somebody says that you are Elijah. Somebody says that you are John the Baptist." And he said, "Leave the people what they said. What you said, who am I?" And he said to him that you are the son of a living God, not God. This was the disciple who believed about Jesus, that he was the son of God,
So let me ask
not
you a
God
question.
himself.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe when Jesus said, when Peter says to him in that verse, it's on the screen, 16, 16, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus answered, said, and blessed that art thou, Simon Barjona, flesh and blood has not revealed that to you, but my Father's who them. Do you believe those very words in those two verses?
So the word, yeah, I believe, but in the Israelite sense, the Son of God means those who follow the teaching of prophets and the
Nope,
command of
nope,
God.
nope. You're not going to get out of that one. Nope, 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 nope. So here, Peter calls Jesus the Christ, the Son, because prior to this, Jesus has been claiming to be the Son of God, the very one who was sent from the Father, right? So if you are going to say this verse, to try to use this verse to disprove Jesus being God, well, you've also, by doing that, you've also refuted Islam, because this is stating, as you said, you agree with it now, unless you need to backtrack. Peter calls him the Son of God, and Jesus once again affirms that, just like he affirmed Thomas when Thomas said to him, my Lord and my God.
So how these are contradiction, but he is the Son of God or he is God? Because the both cannot be the same. Maybe he is God
Well,
or he is the Son of God.
first off, do you either accept what it says here or not?
Leave it at whether I accept or not. It doesn't
Okay, then
matter.
don't use that anymore. If you don't accept it, don't use it. You can't quote something you don't believe in.
I don't believe because it's contradict your
No,
view. Was
no.
he the Son of God?
If you're going to try to quote something, yet you don't even believe the very thing you're quoting, then quote something you actually believe.
Brother, whether I believe or not, but it is your standard that you believe, but you find contradiction in your Bible. Let go to the first Exodus
Okay.
chapter 20.
Okay. All right. So that was
You are now we are
okay. Okay.
diverting from
So
the
that was
first.
your
Why?
verse. Hey. Okay. That was your verse. I responded. Okay. My turn. John chapter 5. You're asking the question on the Son of God. Okay. My turn. John 5. Jesus heals on the Sabbath. The Jewish people want to kill him because he did a miracle on the Sabbath, accusing him of breaking the Sabbath. But watch what it says here. Verse 18. Therefore, the Jews sought the more to kill him in verse 18 because he was breaking the Sabbath, but he was also called God his own Father, making himself equal with God. Okay, let me ask you a question. If they're hearing Jesus call God his own Father, and they're hearing that and they're believing when he says that he's making himself equal with God, don't you think Jesus would have corrected their misunderstanding if that was true?
Yes, he corrected them because in John chapter 10 verse 34
No, no,
he
no.
corrected them. He
Stay
said,
here in John 5. Stay here in John 5. So you're saying he would
I,
have corrected him, yes?
yes, I am refuting that.
Okay.
Just let me to
So,
speak. Let me
in
speak.
John
Why you
5,
are?
so you say yes. So you say yes. Where in John 5, 19 through 23, in these verses, because I'm going to say it out loud, 7 more times from verse 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, Jesus goes on to say he is the Son of the Father, the very thing they accused him of. And not only that, he says in verse 22, all judgment, all judgment is unto the Son. And he goes on to say in verse 23 that all men are to honor the Son even as they honor the Father. That's equality. So where in these verses did Jesus actually deny what they accused him of?
Okay, let me complete. Do not overtalk it, because we will then get hypers and will talk over talking with each other. Let's sure it be polite. Okay.
I'm giving you an opportunity to
It
respond. The text is on the screen. In verses 19 through 23, where did Jesus correct their misunderstanding here?
Okay, let me explain. It is the Jews they accusing because they misunderstand Jesus Christ. Okay, it's Jesus did not claim himself that he is God. Okay, and if he is giving the authority, God is have the authority. God cannot be given authority. Okay, and when they said that you are if you seen me, you seen God. That's what
Okay. You're not in
that's what you
John
say.
5. You're not in, you stay in John 5, my friend. In John 5, I asked you when they said to him, you call God your own father, making himself equal with God. You agreed with me that they were misunderstanding it. I said, don't you believe that he would have corrected the misunderstanding? I'm asking you again from verse 19 through 23, 7 more times, Jesus calls himself the Son, the very thing they wanted to kill him for. And he says that all judgment is unto the Son, meaning Jesus, and that they are to honor Jesus the Son equally as they honor the Father. Where did Jesus correct their misunderstanding?
Yes, Jesus correct him and John in the same book. He corrected him in John chapter 10.
Okay,
It is not
not
necessary
in
that in the
John
same
10. We're in John
so
chapter 5. In this story right now, my friend, where did he correct these guys?
brothers, when we are talking about one chapter, and then you directly jump to John chapter 10. And when I am going to
I didn't go
clarify,
anywhere. I'm in John chapter 5,
you
my friend.
you are jumping from places to places. And when I the same question when I
My
refuting
friend, everything I've said so far, my friend, is right in John chapter 5 on the screen. I haven't went anywhere else.
in John chapter 10, 34 and
You are in
35,
John 10.
he
We're in John
clarifies.
5. We are in John
So
5, my friend.
is it necessary that he should refute him in John 5? Is it necessary? You want to
Again,
clarification.
my friend,
And
my
this is the
friend,
same
my
context.
friend, I asked you a very simple question. They wanted to kill Jesus because he was calling God his own father, making himself equal with God. That was what they believed when he called himself the Son. I said to you, don't you think he would want to correct their accusation against him? I said to you in 7 times from verse 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, Jesus goes on to call himself the Son 7 more times, and he says, all judgment has been given to the Son, meaning Jesus, and they are to honor Jesus the Son equally, even as they honor the Father. Where did Jesus correct their misunderstanding here?
So this is the fault of John that he did not mention in this verse. And he correct them in John chapter 10. So why you are sticking? Because this
You
you are
keep going somewhere else. We're in John 5.
why you are sticking with John 5? Am I refuting your
I
same arguments?
We're
He
here.
correct
These
he
are the Jews who they wanted to kill him. They wanted to
yeah,
kill him, my friend. They
because
accused him of
why
blasphemy because he was making himself equal with God because he was calling himself the Son. So I'm saying to you, Jesus actually went farther than what they accused him of because he actually says all judgment is given to the Son. He then says all are to honor the Father, even as are all to honor the Son, even as they honor the Father. My friend, Jesus took what they said and went even farther and said, yes, I am equal with the Father here.
No, brother. It says in the same argument. It says when the Jews they're claiming that Jesus is claiming to be God, Jesus is correcting them that why you are stoning me, because they are stoning them. They believe that man cannot be God, and they are Jesus claiming to be equal to God. It's their misunderstanding. Their
So,
misunderstanding that
okay.
they
So where in John 5,
let-
where in John 5 did he
brother,
correct their misunderstanding? Where in John 5 verses
friend,
19 through 23, where did he correct it?
friends. What why you are just sticking with this far? This is the
This is
same
called
claim.
this is called exegesis, context, my friend. Where did Jesus correct them?
I'm exegesis the Bible, and
No,
you
you're
do not
not.
fail to me.
No, you're not. You're
I'm doing that.
eisegeting. You're
From
jumping around.
I mentioned Exodus, you come to John, and when I am refuting John, you are just this why we are. I am telling
I've
you,
stayed in
stick
John
with
5
it.
the whole time.
This is the same topic. Jesus, they misunderstand that Jesus is claiming to
Okay.
be God,
So they
and Jesus
misunderstand.
correcting them.
Okay, got it. They misunderstand. They wanted to kill him, by the way, just so you understand. It's more than a misunderstanding, my friend. Wake up. You can't just
Bec-
want to kill somebody for a misunderstanding. Do you understand
no,
that? There are listen. There are Old Testament laws for someone to be killed. Okay? One of them is blasphemy. Blasphemy in the name of the Lord, right? So here, they're getting ready to kill him. They want to kill him for blasphemy. Where did Jesus in John chapter 5 correct them?
did you finish? Can I
Waiting.
speak now? Can I speak
In
now?
John 5. John 5.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
I don't know what you're saying.
You
Don't speak your tongue.
I say, not speaking tongue. This is Arabic. I'm refugee of Satan, because we are going something else. You are
Say,
sticking to John
what'd you
5.
say?
I am I
Wait,
am
wait, 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 wait,
I
wait, wait,
am
wait. What did you say about Satan? Did you say I'm a Satan?
I am not saying Satan,
What
because
did you say?
Satan is.
What did you say?
I am asking refuge from God of Satan, because Satan always deviate people from his
Right.
right
So you're
path.
accusing
Okay,
me of doing what
it's a,
Satan does. Okay, I got it. Okay.
no
Now
no
in
no
John
no no no
chapter
no no
5,
no no no
John
no
5,
no no.
John 5, here's your last chance. They understood when Jesus was calling God his Father that he was making himself equal with God. This is what Jesus said. Then Jesus answered and said to them, verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son, there's number one, can do nothing of himself but what he sees the Father doing. For what things he does, he also does, the Son also does likewise. There's number two. The Father loveth the Son. There's number three. Showeth him all things that he himself does. He will show him greater works than these, that you may marvel. As the Father raises up the dead and quickens them, even so the Son, there's number four, quicken whom he will. The Father judges no one, but has committed all judgment to the Son. There's number five. That all men should honor the Son. There's number six. Even as they honor the Father, he that honoreth not the Son, there's number seven, honoreth not the Father. There's 7 times Jesus affirms he's the Son of the Father, the very thing they wanted to kill him, the very thing they accused him of blasphemy. He says all judgment is his, and that you, as a Muslim, are to honor Jesus the Son equally as you honor the Father. Do you agree with him?
Did you finish?
Can you respond?
Yeah, I will respond, but when you should keep quiet. Do not interrupt me.
If you stay to the text, I won't interrupt you. You jump somewhere else, I'll interrupt you.
The same topic you are asking about me, that Jesus correct him. I am giving the answer in the same book. Okay, the same topic, the same arguments, and
Where are
Jesus
you going?
correct him.
Are you staying in John
Okay.
5?
Yes, I am them.
In John 5.
Let me go. If Jesus called God his Father, is it blasphemy? Do you believe this is blasphemy? I'm
Sorry?
asking. If Jesus called his God the Father, is it blasphemy?
No, because he's the
Also,
Son.
because he is the Son, and the Jews think that this is blasphemy, because he is said, I am the Son of God. You are not believing, and the Jews are accusing him, and you are accusing me.
My
Is it
friend,
fair?
where in verse
fair?
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, where did Jesus correct them? Because he keeps on calling himself the Son, He then says the Son has all judgment. All judgment is under the Son. That's Jesus. All judgment. He then says you are supposed to honor Jesus the Son even as you honor the Father. Do you agree with Jesus? Yes or no?
I am not agree with the author of John, because John contradict the Bible. Did you say that all the judgment is given to Jesus? Read
That's what
First
it said.
Peter
That's what
chapter
Jesus said.
1:17. The judgment is with God,
What?
but the Bible
What verse?
contradict himself. The Father will judge everything. The Father, not Jesus.
Jesus said
First
here that
Peter
all judgment is
chapter
the
1
Son.
verse number 17.
Okay. Okay. We'll bring you up another time. I've told you over and over to stay where we're at. Email me. Okay. Email me. And we will discuss this more with an actual format. And if you don't stay on target, I'm going to remove you. Plain and simple. I don't play games. If you can't stay to the context, what's going on, then don't come up to the mic. Plain and simple. When you brought up Exodus 20, I responded with what was going on, right? I then responded to your Matthew 18, right? You didn't properly respond to Thomas. You completely overlooked what was going on in his context. And then I bring you up to John 5, where you're talking about the Son of God. And Jesus Christ, claiming to be the Son of God, is claiming equality with the Father. You didn't bring up anything to reject it. You kept jumping back and forth to other verses. If you're going to have a discussion, stay within the context says. Otherwise, don't do it. Jesus claimed to be equal with the Father. Jesus claimed and received worship from the disciples. Jesus received what Thomas said to him. Therefore, Scripture teaches Jesus is God. Don't play that game in the live chat there, buddy. Don't play that game. If you do, you'll be silenced. I won't play those games with you. If you're not going to be honest, if you're going to be a deceiver, go to someone else's channel. I didn't force you to come here. I didn't force you to come here. Okay? On your channel, by the way, you have a video. By the way, just so you know, at your channel, you actually encourage other Muslims to not go to other Christian channels to engage with them. Okay? You actually have a video at your channel. I seen it, encouraging other Muslims to not go to other Christian channels. And yet you're doing the very thing. You're a hypocrite and you're playing games. No more. I don't play that game. I don't play that game. You want to be honest? You want to be real? Be real. Even if you disagree, I can get that. I can respect that. But if you're going to be dishonest and an accuser and a deflector all the time that you have been each time you've been here, I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to bow the knee to you when you don't answer clear, simple questions from what the verses actually say.